This is Wickett on Wisconsin. My name's Mike Wickett. After 10 years in Milwaukee talking sports, I took a bit of a break, but now I'm back and here to talk about the Packers, the Bucks, the Brewers, and more with you. And now inside the Koss Headphone Studios, this is Wickett on Wisconsin with me, Mike Wickett.
Oh, we had to go live after that effort by your Milwaukee Bucks. We absolutely had to go live after the Bucks lose 115-104. They fall to the Miami Heat in game one of whatever in the world we got going on. All right? We had to go live with this. If you're watching on this video and it's on Twitter, you're watching on Facebook, or whatever the case may be, would love your commentary, would love your comments on that. Feel like I'm doing a miniature post-game show after the effort that you saw from your Milwaukee Bucks, because I know people aren't going to like this, but this is the absolute 100% truth about the Milwaukee Bucks, and that effort that you just saw, that's on Giannis. That loss is on Giannis, okay? That is 100% on Giannis. That is a guy who has got to give you more than what he did if he is the MVP, if he is the Defensive Player of the Year, soon to be two-time MVP, completely outplayed in this ball game. Completely outplayed by Jimmy Butler in this ballgame. Completely outplayed by whoever you want to talk about. Giannis Antetokounmpo can't go give you, and I know the stats are going to be like, it was 18 and 10 and 9. That game, that can't happen if you're Giannis. If you are the MVP, I am sorry. That can't happen. Bucks lose, and you know what? I kept hearing from a lot of people all week was, boy, I don't want him to see the Heat. I don't want him to see the Heat. Oh, God, I don't want him to see the Heat. And I thought, well, come on, they're going to be fine. They're going to be fine. The Heat are athletic. The Heat are a team that give the Bucks all kinds of problems. And the Heat have Jimmy Butler. Is Jimmy a better player than Giannis? I don't know if Jimmy's a better player than Giannis. Jimmy had a much better game than Giannis. Jimmy sure looked better than Giannis in this ball game. And you know the problem for Giannis and teams, like I've said this on podcasts a bunch so far. You know the problem for Giannis? He's not versatile. He's not a versatile basketball player. He's a dominating player when he can get to the rack. He's one of the great players in the NBA going to the basket, and he's one of the great players in the NBA around the rim, rebounding, finishing, cleaning up messes because of his length. But when we've said this a million times, when teams figure him out, when teams know they can stack the middle, build the Giannis wall, that's when you know Giannis is not going to be effective. He's not going to be effective. And that was the case tonight. And the Bucks scored, let me do some math here. The Bucks scored 40 points in the first quarter. 40 in the first quarter. The Bucks scored 64 the rest of the way. 64 the rest of the way. Meanwhile, you got Miami doing anything they want. I don't know if you realize this, but Miami's the second best three-point shooting team in the NBA. The Bucks are one of the worst defensive teams against the three in the NBA. That's a bad combination. And they hit him. Dragic hit a bunch. Hero hit threes. Of course, Jimmy Butler was out there hitting threes, and that's not like Jimmy. That's not Jimmy's game to be bombing away from three. Tonight was incredibly frustrating because you wanted to see a better effort out of Giannis to be the man, to rise up, to mean mug, to hit shots. I wanted to see Giannis get to the rack, and if he was unable to get to the rack, kick out, and everybody else hit shots. Giannis had a bad game. And I know it's sacrilege to criticize Giannis, but he doesn't have a great mid-range jumper. I hate when Giannis shoots threes. He's still not a real good three-point shooter. Don't tell me he's getting better. when Giannis is stopped, Giannis is a mediocre player on the offensive side of the ball. When Giannis can't go to the rack, when Giannis can't go to the rim, when Giannis can't drive, Giannis is a mediocre player. And if I was Eric Spoelstra, I would continue to do this. And you know what? If Giannis does get near the rim, hack him. Hack a Giannis. He's a horrendous. It's an embarrassment when Giannis is at the free throw line. An absolute embarrassment when Giannis is out there shooting free throws. How can a superstar be that bad shooting free throws in the NBA? How can the MVP be a 60% free throw shooter? How can the MVP airball at least one free throw every single game? Mike, you're overreacting. It's only the first game. Mike, don't worry. It's only game one. They'll be fine. They got more. No, this is what we saw against Orlando in game one. The difference is Orlando ain't that good, all right? Sun shines on a dog's ass someday, you say. Yeah, that's what happened in game one against Orlando. Orlando was unmanned. Bucks looked unmotivated, and they got their one. They stole game one. The Bucks' talent was going to overcome the 8 seed who didn't have 3 of their better players. The Bucks aren't going to be able to do that against the Miami Heat. Miami's too dang good, too dang athletic, too dang deep for the Bucks to have this kind of effort with turnovers, missed free throws. God, the whole team was missing free throws and terrible shot selection. The Giannis walk-up 3, that can go away anytime. That can never happen again. I'm fine if that never, ever happens again. The Chris Middleton 32-foot bomb he put up with a couple of minutes to go when the Bucks had a chance to take the lead back. It was a 5-point swing, and it went the other. It might have been a 6-point swing. I can't even remember. The Bucks played stupid tonight. They played right into Miami's hands. And I'm just so disappointed in the Greek Freak who I love, who you love. If you're a Bucks fan, you love watching Giannis play. And the effort he gave you tonight, he was taken out of the game. Spo, the Heat, Jimmy, Adebayo, everybody on that Miami team. They took Giannis out of this basketball game. And I swear to God, I put this up on Twitter, and I 100% believe it. I would rather Giannis work his ass off this offseason, which I hope doesn't start for a while. It's weird because it's August, and tomorrow's the first day of September. But I hope he spends his 2-week offseason or whatever it is in the gym shooting 5,000 free throws. I asked for this last offseason. You know what he worked on? His 3-point shot. I would rather Giannis work his tail off to become an 82% free throw shooter than a 37% 3-point shooter, because that's his game. His game is not walk up, step back threes. His game is getting to the rack. He's going to get fouled. Teams know to foul him. I would foul the hell out of Giannis anytime he came anywhere near the rack because I know he's going to be a terrible free throw shooter. I know there's a good chance he's going to miss at least one, and there's a good shot he's going to miss 2. He missed 2 down the stretch in this one that could have kept this thing closer. Let me get his stats. What did Giannis shoot from the free throw line overall tonight? I'm just angry about this. Giannis was 4 of 12. 4 of 12 from the free throw line. I mean, Giannis was only 6 of 12 from the floor. Can you imagine any other MVP being 6 of 12 in a playoff game? LeBron, Steph, the GOAT, Mr. Jordan, Air Jordan, Kobe. MVPs don't go 6 of 12 in the most important game of the year. MVPs mean mug. MVPs get to the rack. MVPs finish. MVPs have big nights in playoff games. I don't care if they're scheming against you. Giannis had 18, 10, and 9. 18 points, 10 boards, 9 dimes in this one. He had a block and a steal. He turned the ball over 6 times, including down late, when it looked like he was actually going to get to the rack in the paint. Ball slips out of his hands. That happened in the Orlando series. That happened in the first 8 games in the bubble for this entire team. Just infuriating. Infuriating to watch. I know everybody was expecting Milwaukee to lose this series. I mean, non-Bucks fans were expecting the Bucks to lose this series to Miami because of all the things I've talked about. You may be right. You may be right. Milwaukee still doesn't defend the 3. They pack the paint, but you're playing against a team that thrives on the outside. You may have to make that adjustment. There are so many things that can be done to help alleviate that. Again, I don't want to be a downer, and I know some people are going to tell me, "Oh, Mike, it's just one game. It's just one game." But this is more than a game. This is a symbol. I mean, if the Bucks didn't have their monster first quarter, they lose this by 20. And if Chris Middleton doesn't have the best half of basketball he's had since March, since before the shutdown, they lose this game by 20. And they get embarrassed in game 1. I mean, Miami just put a big stamp on this. I know there's no such thing as home court advantage anymore. That's not a thing whatsoever in the NBA, in the bubble. That's not really a thing. So I don't know if anybody can say, well, they just lost home court advantage. I don't know if there even is a home court advantage in the NBA these days because it's the bubble. You just whatever. I'm not going to get too concerned about that. I'm just talking about the series itself. The series itself just took a major turn because Miami is doing everything everybody said they would do against Milwaukee, and that's what happened the first couple of times they beat them in the regular season. They're more athletic. They shoot from the outside. And Jimmy Butler took over tonight. Giannis has to do that. But again, I go back to what I was saying earlier. Giannis isn't versatile enough to do what Jimmy Butler did. So he can't not be great going to the rack. Chris Middleton can't give you 20-some points in the first half and then 4 in the second half. That can't be what happens. You need consistency out of your number 2 guy to help your number 1 guy as well. I was getting ready for the Chris Middleton party to explode after the win. Nope. He was non-existent for a lot of the second half. Brook Lopez, great in the first half. Non-existent whatsoever in the second half. I know they hit 1-3, I believe, on a kick out by Giannis. Not a great night. Infuriating. Turnovers, free throws, fundamental stuff, shot selection, turnovers, the charity stripe, stuff you're supposed to do well if you have the best record in the NBA in each of the last 2 seasons. But that's not what happened tonight. They got a day off to play again on Wednesday, game 2 against Miami. Heck, this thing could battle the other way, a couple of bounces here and there, and we're talking about a 7-game series. I had Bucks in 6. Kind of cliche, I know. I'm not 100% sure I still believe in Bucks in 6, but this was a tough one, Bucks fans. This was definitely a tough one. 115-104 the final score again. Giannis Antetokounmpo, he had 18 points to frustrate a lot of people like myself. 28 for Middleton, 24 for Lopez. I sure hope that Eric Bledsoe can come back. They really need his defensive toughness on the ball. They need him not to turn the ball over like everybody else was doing in this game. And you know what? The Bucks look, when you have all those little things go wrong, DiVincenzo misses a layup, a lot of bad turnovers, throwing the ball 7 feet over a guy's head who already is 6'10". Are you tight? Are you nervous? Are you choking under pressure? Either the Bucks need to get it together or loosen the hell up, and I'm not sure which one it is. That's on Coach Bud because they got to figure that out. They have got to figure that one out. All right, thanks for checking in right after the game. We'll do this on Wednesday as well after game 2 against the Miami Heat. This one hurt. 115-104 the final. The Bucks lose game 1 to Miami. Thanks for checking out this episode of Wickett on Wisconsin. If you want the full podcast, go to my podcast page, Mike Wickett Podcast. You can get that one as well as all my other ones. It's on Spotify. It's on Google Podcasts. We are on Apple as well. Wherever you find your podcast, we are definitely there. So
thanks for listening to Wickett on Wisconsin. If you have any feedback or you want to reach, this is Wickett on.
I wasn't ready to say goodbye. Who hit that button? I wasn't ready to say goodbye yet. All right. We are on Apple. We're on Google. We're on Spotify. Wherever you look for your podcast, we are there. Chin up, Bucks fans. Game 2 is on Wednesday. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for listening to Wickett on Wisconsin. I'm Mike Wickett. As always, go Pack, go Brewers, and go Bucks. Okay, now you can hit the button.
Thanks for listening to Wickett on Wisconsin. If you have any feedback or you want to reach out to the show, you can find me on Facebook, Mike Wickett Podcasts, or you can email MikeWickettPodcasts@gmail.com. And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter @Mike Wickett. Thanks to Silverman Sound Studios for providing the music for today's show. And you can find us anywhere you find your podcasts, including Apple, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Until next week, thanks for listening to Wickett on Wisconsin.